Hello and welcome to Video DNA, where the English is bad and tutorials are good. I'm Adabib and today we're gonna start a marathon of tutorials. Tehran Season 3, I wrote it so I will not forget. Tehran Season 3 is beginning and the first episode was this Friday, the last Friday. And from now on, after each episode on every Monday, I will launch a new tutorial on one shot or one scene from the episode. I promise there will be no spoilers, and I promised not to you, to the production as well. And if there's something that you want to ask that you watched while the tutorial was happening and I recorded it and I forgot to show, or I didn't choose to go there, just ask me on the comments below or contact me on the site and I will try to answer it on the next tutorial. That will be on next Monday after episode number 2. So without further ado, let's look at the first shot of the season. And this is an establishment shot of something that happens inside this lab or area or something. So before I'm gonna start, I just wanted to show you something really nice. Each time on each shot I created on the show, I rendered it on another machine so I can continue working. So I have 2 machines in this studio, and the studio is actually my house, and I'm just gonna add this composition to render queue as usual. And I'm gonna go and see there's nothing here, and I'm gonna select the output module and I'm gonna go to render brain, and if you don't have it yet, get it. I'm gonna go to network render and I'm gonna press the big brainy button, and now I'm just gonna select the media machine, that's the secondary machine, and I'm gonna render that out. That's it. And now I can continue work on this machine and show you everything cool about this shot. So we didn't actually have the opportunity to go to a nuclear site in Iran, so we need to shot something that resembles it and change it. So it looks something like this. So this is the original plate. This is a factory, not a nuclear factory. And it looks a lot like it, but it's not. And if you want to see, I have like a cleanup layers over here. This is me with drone photographers or operators, and this is our this is my car and this is their car. Mine is the green cool one. And this is like the less interesting thing, like cleanups, so I'm just gonna skip it. And I'm gonna go to the main composition and I'm gonna solo the first layer, which is this one, and I will only solo the correction because we work in log throughout the production, and only the color can take it from log to another thing. So we need to work under this log. This is what this adjustment layer is for. So let's talk about how we created the desert area. So we created a Photoshop file that has a lot of space on right and left, and it was created manually with a lot of photos because we're not allowed to use AI, and AI was not as developed 3 years ago when we actually did this episode. It took a lot of time to air it because a lot of political issues. So now it's finally here, and let's talk about it. So to remove all of this houses and whatever, we needed to create a desert plain. So it's this Photoshop file, and this is just a reference for me to move if I need. And eventually, what I need to do to place it on this 3D plane is, first of all, I needed to track it. So tracking, it's pretty simple. So I'm gonna go to right click the layer, and I'm gonna go to track and track camera. And now it will start. You will see it starting. I'm not gonna do it again because we don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. Maybe you have. Sorry, guys. And again, I know I pressed detailed analysis, so I'll have a lot of tracking points eventually. On drone shots, it's 9 times out of 10, it reduces the average error and makes the tracking more accurate. So all I needed to do is take this desert and make it 3D after we had a camera. And that's it. It moves like in the camera. It's not in the right area. We need to select, let's say, this plane, and let's create a solid, and we can attach it to the solid. This time I'm just gonna take the position and I'm gonna paste it over here. And now it moves like that area. But this is not what I did. I did something entirely different. I created 2 planes. This one that moves in a pretty 2D way. So further we look, this is where we're gonna see this layer. And I have the layer above it that moves in a 3D way. So if we look on the custom view, it's pretty flat. So how does it move like this? So it's pretty simple. I just added a slant effect. And the slant effect does this. It's like dancing, like, I don't know how to say it. It's like cabaret. I don't know. Anyway, so when I'm gonna look at this layer that also moves in 3D, if I take out the slant and leave only these 2 layers, I can see that they both move pretty flat. So all I need to do is take the slant effect and just animate it. I have 2 keyframes, or maybe another one, I don't know. No, just 2 keyframes on the slant and some adjustments with the scale. And that's it. That's all it does. And I do it a lot in skies, when I replace skies and it's a little bit cloudy, and it would create a parallax effect when something far away moves a little bit slower than what's in front of us, what's above us. So this is exactly the same. So you don't have to make everything 3D as is. You can also manipulate it to look like it's 3D. So this is what we have on the graph. So a few more adjustment layers, one for making this area a bit murky, and one for, this is for sharpening. Yeah, this is the BG sharpen, which does a pretty good job at popping up all of those details from the Photoshop file. And to make it look like it was filmed in Tehran, we actually bought some stock footage of mountains in Tehran and used them as a backplate. So it's like as further as possible in the scene. So if I go to the custom view, I can see it's like, yeah, that's the further. It's all in the same plane. It's crazy. It's like it was so long ago I forgot, but let's continue. So I have this research lab, which we needed to add. So this is where the first scene happens. I'm not gonna tell you if you didn't see the episode yet, so go and watch it. And I have a few lines. Let's not talk about some small details of power lines over there, which you can barely see them. It's like I'm pretty cooked, so I did this. And we have this layer, and this layer has like the perfect mask. So the perfect mask looks like this. And you said, oh, wow, how did you do that? It's actually pretty simple. It just took a little bit more time because I wanted to be accurate. So I want to remind you that we're not allowed to use AI for alphas. And today you can do a lot of things with it. But even now we're working on another season and we're not allowed to do any AI. So how did I create this layer, this fantastic layer? So all I need to do is create like a solid, but from the camera tracker. So let's say I want to mask out these chimneys. So let's go to a spot that I think have some markers on it. Let's say this one, and I think this one as well. Right click, create solid, and I'm gonna press R and right click on the orientation and reset it so it will face us. And all I need to do now is turn it off and start to mask. So I'm going to go to the first frame when they are separated, and I'm going to go to full resolution. And I'm not going to create the best mask in the world. First of all, because it's going to take a lot of time. And second of all, you don't pay me. So I'm going to do a crappy job. That's what happens when you don't pay the visual artists. They do crappy jobs. Pay them well. So I'm gonna just create. I'm actually doing it good. No, I'm gonna stop. I need to. Let's fuck it up a bit. Perfect. No, I'm kidding. So let's make a few over here, and I think this is good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna. I don't need to turn on the layer, but I do know that it will change over time, and pretty badly, if I might say. So I'm just gonna go to the mask. I'm gonna press M. I'm gonna put a keyframe on the mask path, and I remind you, this layer moves in 3D space as the chimneys, but it doesn't know that these are chimneys, so it doesn't change them. So I'm just gonna drag the masks over here, and I'm gonna select a few points and correct them, put them in place. And I'm gonna do this a few more times to see if it looks actually pretty good. But if you really want to do a good job, like jump every half, try to make a keyframe. So you did a keyframe here, and then over here, and then over here. Always go to the halves. So if you have a lot of keyframes put together, like in a really short time, you can actually see the masks move. And when you have less keyframes, it's more fluid, and you will less notice that there is a mask or something like it. So we have this layer. Yay! So let's create another layer. I'm gonna go again to the camera tracker. I'm gonna select as much points as I can because I want this to be the ground plane. So it will actually be all over this area. So I'm gonna create, right click, create a solid, and I'm gonna scale this solid. And because it's not facing us, I'm gonna keep it like this. Not gonna turn it, like, not gonna reset the orientation. I'm gonna turn it off and create like a rough layer over here. And because it's 3D layer, I remind you that it moves with it. I'm gonna feather it out just a bit, not too much. And after I've done all the things I need to do, I have like 5, 6, 10 elements. I can pre-comp them. Call this alpha. And now I can see that it stopped moving. So instead of taking, and that's because these are 3D layers and they only move because of the 3D camera that we have over here. So instead of placing the camera in there, I'm just gonna collapse the transformation. So I'm just gonna press this sunny button, and it will actually make the composition act like a group. I know you don't have groups for layers in After Effects. It's like more groups in Photoshop, because you can see it doesn't crop anymore and it moves. It's like those layers are now grouped, but there are 3D layers in this composition. And I have a lot of tutorials on this feature, so I'm not gonna elaborate more. And just to show you how this works, let's solo out these two layers, only these two layers. And I'm gonna take the alpha, the math from this layer, and that's it. I have a pretty decent beginning of an alpha for this layer. So this is how I done all the other layers. And if I go to the alpha, I can see that they have a lot of moving layers, and this is approximately the same process that you just saw. And I don't want to bore you with creating all of these layers. So now we have this layer exactly as we wanted it. And the last thing I want to show you is this cute layer. Because after going through a lot of references of nuclear reactors and nuclear plants, we always saw that there's like a really long chimney in the middle, one of them or two of them. We didn't have this chimney. So instead of creating a new one, we just took this one. So I just took this plate. I'm going to turn this layer off. I'm going to duplicate the plate. I'm going to place it above, and I'm going to freeze it. Time and freeze frame. Place it below, and to remove this banner, I'm just going to delete the 3D camera tracker from this layer because we actually don't need it. And I'm gonna just create a mask around this element, this chimney, which is like if you know it was just Christmas, this chimney, maybe when Santa got it, he thought, I think this is too much. Maybe I'll quit. Maybe there are no good kids or bad kids in here. So anyway, I'm just gonna place it over here, and I'm gonna, just for it's gonna be easy for me, I want to center the anchor point in the middle of the layer. So I did it with a shortcut, but if you don't know the shortcut, you can go over here and just control double click the anchor point tool. And now I'm gonna drag it over here, and I'm gonna make it 3D. And this moves pretty bad. It's like floating in space. So I need to have like a position of this area. So again, I'm gonna go to the plate layer with the main camera track, and I'm gonna select these few special points and create a solid. And this time I'm just gonna take the position and I'm gonna paste it on this chimney layer. Let's call this chim. I don't really know how to write it. Sorry, not my main language. So I'm gonna scale it up and place it above. I'm gonna go to the beginning. And I can see that because the camera tracker didn't track exactly these points over here, we don't have, it's not that accurate. But instead of fighting it, I'm just gonna go to the position, let's press P, and I'm gonna add a keyframe. And I'm gonna go to the last frame and just drag it over here. And that's all you need to do. It's like a linear motion, so you don't need to do a lot of keyframes. And this is the chimney. It's not as perfect because I didn't put that much time in it, but this is how this chimney was created. And yeah, it looks good. And another thing, I have like because the lighting comes from the left side and this looks like a sunset, this area is blown out, I thought, okay, maybe it's a good thing to put like a haze over here. So I just created a solid, and it's static solid in a color that I sampled from the image, and I just reduced the opacity to 20%, and that's it. I just left it over here, and it does a really good job combining the elements over here with the background and creating a lot of things that weren't there before. And I think that's it. I think we're done with the first episode. So we have a lot of shots. I thought this one was the most special. I hope you learned something. And again, if you didn't see on this tutorial something that popped in your mind, please write me below and I will try to answer it on our next tutorial on Monday, right after episode 2 that will be aired on this stream on this Friday on Apple TV. So I'm gonna see you next week. It's really strange. I never said that. It's like I always say I'm gonna see you next time, but never said week. It's so strange.